All right, we are here with head coach Garrett Peters after McMaster's 2-0 loss to the University of Toronto in the 2025 U Sports Women's Soccer Championships consolation semifinal number 2. Coach, really good battle out there today. Obviously, came out a little flat and couldn't get it done today. But let's kind of open with your thoughts on the way your team played today specifically.
Oh yeah, today was tough. I think the girls did their best to mentally prepare and battle, but both teams were really flat today, and I think both teams had pretty good games yesterday where they saw themselves in tight battles and weren't able to get it done, and so the emotional toll to be able to recover is tough. So the girls battled and did what they could, and we made a bunch of changes to get some opportunities. But yeah, we were a little flat on the day.
Talk a little bit about the experience that your girls had this weekend. Obviously, a lot is made up in a season in which you're hosting a national championship, and you always kind of have that North Star at the end of the season to look forward to. Obviously, it didn't go the way that you guys had hoped, but kind of talk about the experience of hosting for your team this weekend and what it was like for them.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. For an up-and-coming program, to be able to be on the national stage and have some high expectations and a crowd behind you, and to compete against some of the best teams in Canada that have earned their way to be here, I think was great for us to learn and grow and develop into what we're trying to become. I think really the standard we saw yesterday in a game against Montreal where, we had an expected goals of 1.5, and that's a team who hasn't conceded pretty well all year. So we played really well in that game, and then to be able to come in today for a second game in 12 hours, another experience that you can't simulate. Or if you do try to simulate, you're probably going to hurt somebody. So yeah, just proud of the journey and excited for where we're going to go from here.
Looking back on the season as a whole, what kind of expectations did the team have for the season, and how do you feel it kind of played out over the course of the year?
Yeah, I think we had a goal of showing that we could compete with the best teams in Canada, and I think we did that. Obviously, the results matter, and so on the scoreboard it doesn't show how close we are, but the reality is that we are close, and we're continuing to build. And so I think to be able to host a tournament like this, not just because of the facilities and what everyone has done here, and the tournament's been fantastic, but to be able to be a host who is competitive was important as well. So obviously we weren't able to do it on the score sheet, but I think the team saw a tough competition to play against. So.
You have a really talented group of graduating seniors who have played their last games in Maroon this weekend. Talk a little bit about them and the impact that they've made over the course of their careers here.
Yeah, 100%. And it's kind of an interesting mix because some people graduated last year. Like most of the kids here are graduating in 4 years and deciding to do a fifth or not. But so some graduated last year and some graduated this year. And it's going to be impossible to kind of go through everybody. But I think Ali, the stamp that she's put on the program as a starting keeper has just been tremendous, and she's really pushed us in the right direction. Someone I really enjoy working with. She worked with me in the summer as well at Oakville, and so we're going to miss her. But what she's done for the program has been fantastic. Sarah Vogel is somebody that we basically begged to come back because of what she did for the program. She was here for 5 years, played 4, and then went and did a year at Niagara. And what an exceptional human, just a great leader, great captain, the type of person that you just want to have around on a regular basis. And what she's done for us has been too much to account for. So we're going to miss her a lot, and that's a tough spot to fill. So we'll do our best. Ali, so Ali, Sarah, I think Jade is someone that is a really cool story and something that McMaster represents, where this is an institution where people come to go and do school, and then soccer you can find along the way as well. And we're hoping to really, bridge that, where it's people are coming here to I'm going to do school and going to do soccer. But both Jade and Ali came into open trials a number of years back, and look at the stamp they've had. They multiple OUA All-Stars, All-Canadian awards. Someone like that has really helped us transform the program into a program to be recognized on the national stage, and it's not a surprise that we have some rookies coming in that are doing as well as they are, because they're big name rookies that want to be the next Jade Abrio or the next Sarah Vogel, Ali Moody. So those three, especially, the stamp they've had on the program has been tremendous. But I also want to just take a second to highlight some of the other ones, like TM, who came back this year for another year. Some of the graduating players like Lorena and Jana and Julia and Janine and Mia, and like some of these players that the work that they do isn't always seen on pitch, but like the amount of stuff they do behind the scenes for the team, for culture, for just like preparation. Like you wouldn't see it on the TV, but both Jana was on the field today helping with warm-up, and Julia's always out there. Janine's with the camera, doing social media. TM came back, who was a player who was a starter 2-3 years ago and came back, and at the start of the year we discussed and said, I don't know what type of role you're going to have, and like I never heard a word from her all year, like just grinded and supported the team, and she came in and gave us a really good half of football today. So I hope I haven't missed anybody, but from like that major collective, they've just contributed so much that we can't even really measure, and the younger generation took a lot away from that. So I'm really proud of what they did.
Shayla Guha, incredible freshman season, named National Rookie of the Year. Like, what kind of impact what did she bring to the team? Like, talk a little bit about the season that she had, and how you feel like that's going to translate into the rest of her McMaster career.
Yeah, well, and if you want to take a second to do a shout out to another alumni, but like Bree Caldwell, who graduated last year, OUA first team All-Star, one of the best center backs I've ever coached. To lose her last year, we certainly would not have been having a conversation at that point on can we actually compete at the next level, and then to have someone like Shayla come in, like she's just done a tremendous job. I think some of her strong suits, that she actually doesn't know how good she is. She just goes out there and tries her best and takes on information, and like every single game she gets better. And playing against some of the best attackers in the country yesterday against Montreal, you could see it as well, where like her side of the field, not a whole lot happened, and so we're really excited to see where she can go, and she's putting our program on the map as well in terms of the success that she's having. So.
What kind of an experience is this for some of your younger players to see what it's like at the national stage? Obviously, having been here and knowing what it takes, knowing what the level of competition is, and knowing in that quarterfinal that you guys were right there with Montreal. What does that do for the team moving forward?
Well, you know what? We're not going to see for a number of years maybe what it does, but if we want to use a couple of examples, I've seen Trinity Western women lose a number of heartbreaking national games and shootouts. They've lost finals before. They're also multi-time champions, but like they've been doing this for 10 years, and like there's lots of up and downs. There's no guarantee when it comes to a tournament. They've been out early rounds. If you want to look at UBC, who's the best team in the country right now, 2 years ago they're undefeated and lost the CanWest final, and like there's no guarantees. After that they went on to win the national title, but like these things are up and down. Last year Montreal, undefeated, they don't make it to nationals because they lose the RCQ final, and that's the trajectory of most of these programs is like you have to feel a little bit of pain before you can really understand the work that it takes to get back to where you need to be. And I'm not saying that we haven't done the work. I think the girls have. I think the coaching staff has done their best to prepare, but like you really have to dig that extra little bit over a 11 or 12 month period to be like, hey, the next time we are here, we'll never let that happen again. And you can see that from a team like a Montreal this year, who are like, they're dialed. And so we'll see how they end up doing, but like they're all business, knowing that they lost a year last year on that opportunity. So what does that do for us? I think that the younger players have an opportunity now to reset and focus, and I wouldn't be surprised if people are in the gym this week, getting bigger, faster, stronger to prepare and put ourselves in a good position for years to come.
Hosting a championship like this is obviously a big undertaking. What do you feel that says about your program, that the school is kind of invested in that and believed in the program to kind of support an undertaking like this?
Yeah, we're just like so happy and thankful for what the school's done in order to support us, and give us this opportunity. In a way, we feel a little bad that we maybe didn't do as well as we wanted to represent exactly where we are. And I think that's kind of program-wide, and myself especially. But there is a lot of positive stuff coming, and we're one of the up-and-coming teams in our division and conference, and we're very confident in that. And there's no guarantees. We could have played even better and still ended up not being in the position we wanted to be. So it means a lot for the administration to believe in what we have, and we're going to keep trying to build on that. So.
And then Garrett, you're talking about kind of like obviously all those seniors, and then you mentioned about kind of like the impact they leave on their teammates and stuff. And I'm wondering, like for this group of seniors, like all the ones in terms of like what have you seen in terms of like the impact they've had or things they've kind of they're younger, like the teammates that come back next year have kind of like learned from them, or the impact they've had like on their teammates.
Well, you know what, I think as you become a better program, you start to understand that the end of the year does matter, and that results do matter, and that everybody has a role in that. And this year, in my third year more than ever, I really saw that people were much more willing to take on a specific role in order to try to get us to where we needed to be. And that's not always the case for teams. And so we mentioned this even in our chat at the end of the game, but to have players show up on a regular basis, 7 days a week, and maybe they haven't played in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and for them to show up at training, smiles on their faces, laughing, supporting each other, pushing, not glaring at the coaching staff. Like, it was a really fun environment to be in this year, and I think that, like, as an individual, I think they've grown a lot in terms of actually loving being a part of something. And I think for the future, they're going to be able to pass that on as well, where it's like, hey, this is bigger than yourself. It's a program that's developing, and you see that with a team like UBC as well, where it's like, yeah, they have their stars, and then everyone else who's like working to support that cause. So we're trying to get there, and I think the senior players did a really good job of representing that this year.
Sure. And you mentioned that like that environment and everyone kind of knowing the roles and stuff, or take on those roles. Like, what is the kind of like the effect or the impact that you found that did have when they did so?
Yeah, I think that they being able to, some of them being at like a very high role on pitch, some being on very high roles in terms of leadership, other ones leading in terms of organization and communication and things like that. I think that it just shows that, like, and the fact that they valued those positions as well. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not always easy to just be the one taking out the laundry every day, but when you own that and take on that responsibility, it's something that's you can take value in, and help support the team and where you need to go. So yeah, Seniors did a great job of that.
And then I'm wondering for you guys, after the game, when you do meet with the team and stuff in the locker room, like what was kind of the conversation with them like? What was the message like, and where did that come from for you?
Yeah, we didn't talk too much about the game, just talk about the season as a whole. Those are some of the toughest conversations to kind of prepare for, because you don't plan to lose in that fashion, I suppose. And like, we obviously were under the impression that if we played a really good game, we'd play tomorrow. We didn't play a good game, so we just talked about being proud of where they're at, and proud of where the program is going. And the one thing I really emphasized was just trying to maximize on the moments they had as a team, and to really be able to take this as something that is a memorable experience that they can talk about for the rest of their lives. So.
Yeah. And then one more from me here, just in terms of like the overall experience of the team this year, Garrett. And I'm wondering, I know it's maybe tough now to think about, but like in terms of, I'm just curious, when you think of like, what do you think will resonate most with you when you think about like the experience of this year's team, or this year's team, or the experience you had with this year's team? Like, what do you think will resonate most with you going forward?
Yeah, well, when I played, the thing that I take away most is that I have best friends for life. We talk daily, and I've seen that from the team right now as well. A group that, you know, they're tight, they love each other, they're going to be best friends for a very long time, and that's what really matters, that people are taking away a very enjoyable experience from university soccer career, and hopefully that'll last a lifetime for them.
First of all, you have a lot to be proud of. I mean, congratulations just on everything so far. A little bit unrelated to the tournament, I want to kind of talk about your connection to grassroots soccer. So I know you and some of the girls are pretty involved. So, for example, in the summer, I know I watched it happen on soccer camp. So kind of how do the girls kind of affect girls soccer in Hamilton? I know that women's sport is huge right now. So kind of what's your thoughts on that and how they are kind of contributing to young girls in the community in Hamilton?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think that's something that Diana Matheson did a good job of representing at the banquet, and then some of the girls are doing both with McMaster and Oakville and Hamilton United, and like women's sport just in general is growing massively, and I think just having those type of role models around is fantastic for everybody. But not only that, I think that having role models who are responsive to the community, active in the community, and then also like performing at a very, very high level is something that I've never really been a part of, and I think it's fantastic. And even just like running the summer camps in the summer, like you'd think, hey, maybe there's not a whole lot that the kids are taking away. Like they want to come in and, you know, throw stuff at each other and have a good time. But then to have them in the stands and like yelling and screaming and knowing the players' names and getting stuff signed and like just so excited to be around the team, like that's something that I haven't experienced before. And like that's a life-changing thing where like that kid's going into their basement on the weekend and kicking the ball around. And that's pretty powerful, not just for these young athletes aspiring to be something, but just for like their life in general. It's going to set them off on the right path in terms of getting into stuff that is going to benefit them in the long term. So yeah, I'm really proud of the girls to be involved in that and what they're representing for the community as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks for doing this.
Cool.
Congratulations on a great season.
Yeah, thanks guys.